Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Houston, we don't have a problem. Today we are going to start talking about calculus. Yeah, AP Physics C here. And in AP Physics C, we want to learn how to use calculus, at least with kinematics. There's going to be more stuff to learn about calculus, but there are really two big topics that we need to talk about. We'll talk about derivatives, that's 1.3C, and then we'll talk about integrals later. So when we've been thinking about motion, right, we've always dealt with the idea that motion is constant. But the problem is that, or the acceleration is constant. The problem is there's also acceleration changes when it's not constant. So for that, we need calculus. So we are going to now start learning about calculus. So derivatives, here's the big fancy word, take us down what's called a ladder. We go from position to velocity to acceleration. So the velocity is the derivative of position. Acceleration is the first derivative of velocity. You still don't know what it is yet. And the second derivative of position. It's the slope. Let's talk about the slopes. This really matters here. So if I have a graph, and we've learned if I've got position, so let's say x versus time, and I have a curve, then what we can say is that the instantaneous slope at any given moment, we know that the slope of this is the velocity, because the slope of a position time graph is velocity. Got it? And then if I then were to draw the velocity versus time graph, we've always dealt with the fact that we have I didn't draw very well. We've always had it be a straight line. But what happens if the velocity time graph instead is a curve? So you don't have constant acceleration. So that's where we need calculus. So the slope of a position time graph represents velocity. And the slope of velocity time graph represents acceleration. So what is a derivative? A derivative is a slope. So derivative is a slope of a curved line. Actually, of any line, really, but we use it when we have curvy lines where we know the equation. So in general, the derivative, now the derivative is usually written, it's always written like this. So if I've got some, y equals, x squared, what you say, the derivative is, we'd say dy dx. The derivative of y with respect to x. In this case, we can say d dt of x, or we could say dx dt. Now, it's a very simple little thing. This is called the power rule. It will be equal to n. So you've got, let me realize this. So d dt of t to the power n, that's an n, equals n to the t, n times t, to the power n minus 1. Before we dive too deep into the examples, we want to talk about two other properties. So it's called the constant multiple rule. So if I've got 3x, okay, and I want to find, let's say 3x squared, I want to find the derivative of that, then what you do is then the 3 just becomes a constant. So remember, if you go back here, it's n times n minus 1 right here to the n power of x minus 1. That's a t, I guess. So what I could say is I would take the 2, it'd be 2 times 3 times x to the first, because this would be n minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so that'll be 6x. Does that make sense? Or, well, here's a good example. I should use the example here. This will be 15x to the fourth, because you take this 5 right here, multiply by the 3, and then you drop the x by one power, and it becomes to the power of fourth. And then there's the sum and the difference rule. Basically, if you've got a bunch of things that you're adding up, what you do is you basically find the derivative of each and add them together. So it's be like saying d dt of 2t to the fourth plus d dt of 5t squared plus d dt of 3. All right. Now, by the way, we have not talked about this, so let's just do this example. It's a perfect example. This would be 8t cubed. You see that? I break to 4. 4 times 2 is 8. I drop the power 4 to a 3 plus 10t, because the 2 multiplies the 5. I'm just adding them up. So we can add them. This is the summative rule, or the sum and difference rule. Actually, this would be, I have a sign error I'm seeing here. This would be minus, because this is a negative. So this is a negative. And then this is a plus 3. Now, if you think about this is 3. There's no to the power, right? So it's really x to the 0, right? And so you bring the 0 down here, and you get 0 times 3, boom. So this, if you have a constant number right here, it just disappears. So this is the answer. This is the derivative of this problem. So derivatives follow what's called the power rule. You take n times t to the n times t to the n minus 1, and then you can also add them up if you've got multiple things. And if you've already got some number in there, right, like that's the multiple rule. If I've already got, like here, I've already got the 3 in here, then of course what you do is you leave that there. So let's now do a couple sample problems, or at least a portion of one. Maybe we'll just do number 1 here. Is now we have a particle that moves along the x-axis according to this equation. So what we have is we have the position time graph right here, or we could draw a position time graph. And so find the instantaneous velocity at t equal to 3. I've got position, so what I can do is I can say dx dt. I'm going to find the derivative of this, which would just be, now if you look at the 2, right, that just becomes that's 2t to the first, so that'll just be 2. Does that make sense? Because and then times t to the 0, I'll write that, but t to the 0 is 1, right? Plus, I would say 6t, or let's just say it's 2 plus 6t. So this is equal to the velocity. It's 2 plus 6t. So what's the velocity at t equal to 3 seconds? You just plug it into this equation. It'll be 2 plus 6 times 3, which is 20 meters per second. Bingo, right? Now, what would be the acceleration at t equal to 3 seconds? Well, that means I need to take the next derivative. So I can say dv dt, it's going to be, remember the derivative of a constant is 0. It's just going to be 6. And so what you're saying is 6. Well, how do I plug in the t? It means it's actually constant. So this will be at 6 meters per second squared. It's going to be constant. It's not going to change at all. All right? So number 2 here, a particle moves along the x-axis according to this equation. What's the velocity? I'm going to say dv, or dx, pardon me, dt, and that's going to be equal to 8t, remember the 2 times the 4, plus, I'll just say plus negative 6t squared. This is your velocity, so that's the answer. And to find the acceleration as a function of time, we would take dv dt, which would be 8 plus negative 12t. Is the particle ever at rest? If so, at what time? If it's at rest, what does that mean? Rest means velocity equals to 0. So that means I can take my velocity equation here and set it equal to 0. So 0 equals 8t minus 6t squared. So I can say 6t squared equals 8t. 1t cancels. I can say 6t equals 8. Divide both sides by 6. T equals 8 over 6. Is that 1.5? 1.3, yeah. 1.3 seconds. So yes, the answer is it is at 1.3 seconds. So you see how we can use our equations to solve for these problems. So Houston, derivatives. We don't have a problem. We'll see you in class.